Evelyn to Philip, V-mail dated December 2nd, 1944. My darling, your letter of November 13th came through this morning, informing me of your intention to see Harry W. and that you expect to take a furlough. By the way, does this furlough decrease your chances for a furlough back to the States? Just curious. Today, though the sun shone brightly, it was positively freezing out. It was the sort of cold you just can't stand for more than a minute at a time. Even in the sun, which was as bright as ever, it was freezing. I worked my usual 4 hours, shopped for some pretzels, potato chips, etc. for Adele's party tomorrow, and came directly home. I stopped at a neighborhood store to get Adele some warm underwear, and the only thing they had was some panties. I paid 59 cents for one pair of panties, and I'm sort of shocked at the size, which is size 8. They fit her perfectly. Of course, panties run in funny sizes, but that seems like such a large size to me. I'm very much in need of undershirts for her, and Faye has promised to go into Blauner's with me some evenings so that I may buy all the little things I need for Adele at the 20% discount. Those, quote, little, unquote, items sure do cost. I also need socks, jerseys, sleepers, and a few more little things. As you know, tonight is the party for Richie. No one wants to go because it is too cold, but I'm anxious to see Richie, and so I'm going. I called Emma, and we are going together. Tell you all about it tomorrow and all about the party, providing I get the opportunity to write. If not, well, I'll write all about it on Monday. I'm going up to get dressed, and I am going to wear my new lemon yellow dress. God, but I wish you were going along with me. I hate to go anywhere alone. Snuffy is coming in for the weekend for the last time, for he expects to ship out next week. I'm sorry they can't get up here for the party, for I feel very much as if they will be missing. It's funny how close we've gotten. And now, honey, I must run if I'm to go to the party at all. I intend to get back early, for I want to be rested tomorrow. I love you so much, baby, and I get particularly blue when I must dress up and go out without you. Good night, darling. I am and just love being your Ev. Philip to Evelyn, 2 December 1944. Dearest Evie, after another busy day, I went to the first show. That just about covers, quote, my day, unquote, today. The picture was Ministry of Fear with Ray Milland and Marjorie Reynolds. It was a good, suspenseful spy story. I enjoyed it very much. Then a bite at the snack bar and back here to my hut to write this. I have a stack of your letters that arrived within the last few days to answer, and because it's rather late, I may not finish tonight, but I'll write as much as I have time for and finish up tomorrow. The earliest letter is dated 6 November. Here goes. I learned right off the bat that Vicky Paula was born on 5 November. I've already mailed off a letter to Etta and Nat. You say that you feel better for having written that longy of 5 November. I'm glad for that anyway, honey. It does pay sometimes to get things off your chest. I only hope my letter in reply causes you no more aggravation, as I fear it might. You say you wrote to Gloria on the 5th. I received one from her today, also dated 5 November. That's what I would call reciprocation with a vengeance. By the way, what's the opposite of a vicious circle? The rest of this particular letter requires no comment. Your contribution on the 7th begins with the good news that Snuffy was scheduled to go to the Aberdeen Proving Grounds. Now that's what I would call a swell break. It just so happened that his letter informing me of the same happy circumstances arrived by the same post. He also told me how good it was to have Dottie with him. I'm glad for both of them. Your second paragraph informed me that you had voted for the first time, and for FDR at that. It's getting off on the right foot, all right. All right. In reply to your query, I can say, quote, "You bet I voted," end quote, way before Election Day by absentee ballot. You didn't finish this letter on the 7th, but continued it on the 8th, at which time you expressed your satisfaction that President Roosevelt was reelected. You were right in assuming that I was happy about the whole thing, too. Your next sentence made me start. It informed me that Eddie S. is now in France. When I think how close I came to traveling way out to Wales to see him, not knowing that he was in France, I'm grateful that circumstances prevented it. Maybe I'll see him in Paris in the spring. Maybe. Who knows? So now you're doing bookkeeping too. Well, seems there's no end to your versatility, honey. The last few paragraphs are devoted to telling me how badly you feel about the slow delivery of my letters. I'm sorry, sweet, but just keep your chin up. It'll catch up with you eventually. That's about all I have time for. Page 2, tonight, darlings. So I'll just wish you a fond good night for the time being. I love you very much, Ev, dearest. A kiss for Adele. 3 December 1944. Hello again, darling. I don't care much for serial letters such as this one is, but sometimes one has no choice. I was very busy all day today. What with soldiers' deposits, company history, and a few other things. I had my hands full. Dumbo is at the Base Theater tonight, but I passed it up for a nap between 5 and 7:30. I was tired. Today's mail brought your V-mail of 14 November, telling me that Eddie is home at last. Well, near home anyway. I'm awaiting further details. But let's get on with answering the rest of your mail, I hope. Let's see now. The next letter was started on 9 November when you wrote 3 short paragraphs at work. Then you didn't get to write till the next day. That was the day you visited Lil to deliver her birthday gift. The powder sample I had requested was enclosed in this letter. I think it has a lovely odor. It now reposes in my wallet next to that lock of Adele's hair that you sent me last year. Thanks, baby. You closed with a query about how V1 and V2 affect us. What you probably meant, sweet, was affected us. I'm permitted to say very little about this, Chippy, but so far they have affected us not at all, as you can plainly see, nor do I think we have much to fear from either of them here. I have seen and heard quite a number of buzz bombs, and I can't say under what circumstances. As for V2, I can say that I wasn't too far away on the one occasion when I heard one explode. That was when I was on my way back to base after seeing the Limey. Sure would like to know where he is now. Nothing else in this one to talk about. Next, your V-mail of 12 November. It was all about the party in honor of Vicky Paula. Glad you had such a good time, sweet. Only next time you feel like telling me you had to ride on some male's lap, please think better of it. I know it is silly of me to mind, but I do. I just squirm at the thought of it. I'm not blaming you, sweet, for something that is my fault. I'm merely telling you this so that you will think twice before writing in that vein again. I'm very glad that everyone complimented you on your appearance. That I love to hear. And now I'm afraid I must sign off again. It's time for lights out. Need I say that I'm keeping our date at this very moment? My dearest love, sweet, to you and the pumpkin. Love to all, from your Phil. Jack Nierenberg, a family friend to Evelyn, December 2nd, 1944. Dear Evelyn, it has troubled me for days, the problem of a birthday gift for Adele. Now it's come and gone, and I've done nothing concrete. Believe me, though, when I tell you that last Saturday, while I was in Oklahoma City, I went to the kids department of a nice store. Oklahoma City is a pretty rich place, and the prices are exorbitant. I know you could do a lot better with a tenner in Philly than I could here, so here 'tis. And please, Ev, when you start worrying about mine, remember that I'd want nothing better than a hairbrush and will accept nothing else. You can deliver it in person when you come to visit me in New York, while I recuperate from the ear operation I'm undergoing December 27th that Dr. Lempert is going to do. I hope you're all well, as am I. Cripes, I weigh 15 pounds more since I stopped smoking, September 20th, and I keep gaining. If this keeps up, I'll have to start again. Boy, would I love it. My love to you all, as ever, Jackie. Jack Nirenberg to Phil, December 2nd, 1944. Dear Phil, I received your most welcome letter. As always, it was a thrill merely to finger the envelope in keen anticipation of absorbing its contents. I wasn't at all disappointed. Phil, in a remote way, I sensed what you inferred in relation to your family, and you and yours. But to learn that it is significant enough for you to convey to me by written word, that was quite a shock. Phil, I wouldn't dare say what I am going to if your perceptions couldn't embrace the thought as from my heart and for the good of yours. I know they will, so here goes. If Adele has any brothers or sisters, or both, and if they are taught money principles, as have been you and Harry and Jack, then that won't be good either. Enough said. Page 2. Phil, your letter came to me fully a month after you dated it. I received it at Borden General Hospital, Chickasaw, Oklahoma. I imagine Ev has given you the play-by-play description. The final score will be this. By March of 1945, I will hear almost normally if all goes well. If it won't be that way, I hope I can tell you in person that the operation worked a little slower for me. In March, I will still be here, having returned for observation after being operated on and treated by Dr. Lempert in New York. What you said about Marilyn and me, I appreciate very much. Had I received your letter there at Camp Hale, I don't think I could have resisted the urge to show it to her. However, I didn't receive it there, so I don't know how much it might have altered the strained relations between us at the time due to the inability to decide whom it was she wanted most to please, me or her parents. It had by that time, page 3, become very obvious that she couldn't do both. When I left, we had been hitting it off fairly well. I was quite gloomy about it all. Now it seems as though we are quit of each other. Since that seemed quite apparent, I entertained no compunctions about escorting a very lovely lady in these parts that says my company is indeed enjoyable to her as is hers to me. I know you think I don't know my mind. Maybe. But here's how I look at it. Look at all the experience I'm getting. Brother, I'm going to end up as happily married as you. Wait and see. Phil, I'm glad you have accepted Denver. When Ev forwards your letter to me. Phil, as I've done before and will do again, I set your letter aside for 12 days. I've since received your letter pertaining to post-war Denver plans. Phil, it seems swell. I don't think your dope on the amount of capital we can raise is correct. If the amount is correct, then the method of getting, page 4, must be damn near impossible. However, once we get set and have decided to adopt your plan, nothing will stop us. Here, though, is the barrier. I am not married. You cannot depend on me until I am. I wasn't going into a discourse on the subject, but I'm afraid I shall have to. Did it ever occur to you that I am scared of marrying, as did Sam and Ann and Len and Lee? I am thankful now, in the new light, that that affair between Francis, remember on the beach when I told you about it, and me did blow up. I say I am scared because I'm afraid I'd be bored too soon after the sexual angle became taken for granted. You see, I am different from Sam and Len. My life has been in a world different from theirs and Ann's and Lee's. I've known and still know 3 girls, either one of whom I'd marry because their intelligence matches or exceeds mine. But more important, because their college degrees assure me that such are their minds that they'll be active on that score for many years to come. Don't misunderstand. Page 5. I know that a girl that never saw the inside of a high school might be a lovelier person than all 3. Here's what I'm driving at. 2 of these girls, Marilyn and Adeline, attracted me immensely. There was something about them that made each date a thing of beauty and interest and continuous humor. Only after several dates with each did I learn of their background. Adeline's mom and dad even hold degrees. Adeline is a swell girl and lots of fun, but Phil, I'm almost positive that we couldn't hit it off sexually. I'm sure I'm afraid to take a chance. Hence, I'm trying, now while I'm in New York, to dim our affair down to a friendship stage. I'm in New York writing from the hospital since this ink turned blue. Marilyn you know about. The last is Marjorie. She isn't pretty as either, but she has everything. Marjorie is my speech teacher. She's 24. If we can work things out, we're trying, we'll be married this year. If you're puzzling, among other things, about what I'd be doing with the speech teacher, it's this. Speech is part of a course given at Borden General Hospital, where I was between October 14th and December 20th, 1944, in Chickasaw, Oklahoma. You see, that's one of 3 hospitals in the States that receives deafened patients. Mostly they are combat casualties. Many are like me. There is a definite procedure. Page 6 in these cases consisting of classes in lip reading, classes in auricular training, how to listen, and classes in speech. All that plus being fitted with the hearing aid that suits the patient best. Then, after 2 months, which included the above 95%, are discharged. I, after being routed there from Camp Hale when the engineer board closed down, was indignant. All I wanted was to leave to get the Lempert operation, and goddamn it, nothing else. They calmed me down and promised me a 30-day sick furlough after 2 months of their special treatment. That's how I met Marjorie. That's how I got here. I'll try for a 15-day extension, which I need for treatment by Lempert in the last phases of ear drainage due to the operation. At some later date, I'll write more to you about both the results of the operation and Marjorie. Incidentally, when I mentioned Phil Strongman to her and what I thought of the bum, she said, "I hope he doesn't call me Marilyn." As ever, Jack. P.S. I'm 11 days past the operation. Just the merest bit of dizzy, and going to Sam and Ann Monday Today is Saturday, January 6, 1945. May this be the year you all come home. P.P.S. I returned to Borden Hospital around October 1st. My address is Ward C12, Borden General Hospital, Chickasaw, Oklahoma.